Hey, Big Papa. Can you hear me? I can't hear you if you're talking. Okay, you dropped down the listener. Let me just resend the request. Here, I'm going to invite you to co-host. Okay, invite to co-host. Okay, there you go, Big Papa. You should be able to come up now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can. I just sent you
Yeah,
the thing for co-host.
yes. Send the request again. It didn't come through.
Look at your phone. I just did it.
Okay.
Do you see it?
Mm-mm. It hasn't popped up yet. Oh, I'm invited to host. I see it now. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are live.
Okay. We are live. Well, welcome into the our podcast for today, Sunday, July the 20th of 2025. Go ahead and like and share out the live so we can get other people in.
Yep, I
Let
just
me.
shared it. And if you're listening on YouTube, definitely like and subscribe and comment as well. And join the conversation here on X Space. The link is in the description of the uh, video. Definitely feel free to join in. We've got quite a bit of a show today to go over because it's been probably a week and just a little over a week since we last had a space. So there's been some events that
Yes.
we just want to go over with y'all.
Yep. Okay. So, take it away, Jay.
Okay. So we've got let's see here. I'll go to our agenda.
Mm-hmm.
Did you want me to start with my stuff or your stuff?
We can start with your stuff.
Okay. So one of the
Yes.
first ones I have here is this story that came out about an HBCU grad from Morehouse College. Morehouse is a HBCU in Atlanta, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
HBCUs, for those who don't know, are historically black college and universities that are primarily black Americans go to them. But you do have other people that attend outside of black Americans. So let's see, what was this gentleman's name? We'll go to the article exactly. The article I found is from Yahoo News. His name is Alex Maganda. He's a Morehouse College graduate.
Mhm.
He was detained by ICE following a routine traffic stop and is now facing deportation. Um, he's being held at a facility in Anson, Texas. Maganda came to the U.S. from Mexico at age 5 and was the recipient of the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, also known as DACA. DACA was one of the big controversial programs that President Obama, that I guess it started under his administration. Um,
Mhm.
but his status under DACA recently expired. Um, so there's been a lot of, I guess you could say, excitement from the HBCU communities trying to say, oh, this is what we were talking about. You know, Trump is going for the immigrants, and, you know, this is just an example of how they're coming after people from HBCUs. But, you know, I think that was just a bit of a red herring because it's just one of those methods they're trying to get, especially Black people, to get involved with these deportations and fighting ICE.
Mhm.
I don't think that's something that we as Black Americans need to be concerned about. But this is just where the powers that shouldn't be, the old dead Black media and things like that, that want us to go and be standing next to people protesting something that really has nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
I mean, they used this man here, unfortunately, what happened to him, but he is not a Black American man. He did go to a HBCU, but that doesn't really mean anything. A lot of people that aren't Black go to HBCUs, but it's just the way that, as you see the media plays on, like, oh, Morehouse graduate, alumni detained by ICE. Yeah, he's a Morehouse alumni, but he's also an illegal citizen. So, but at the same time, if people just read headlines, that's all that they see, and that's what they know. Most people are just going to get caught up in the headline, and that's it. Um, when in reality, all you have to do is actually pay attention and see there's more to the story than that. Same as the story with the Black guy that's Jamaican or something. Remember, I was saying we don't know anything
His
about this.
father is Jamaican, and he got deported even though he was born on an army base
Right, but
in Germany.
that's where there's not enough information because they didn't go into anything about his mother. They just talked about his father, who was in the military. So, as far as I'm seeing, he's Jamaican, and that's why they got his ass up out of here. Now, as long as you're Black American, you ain't got a damn thing to worry about. But they want us to give a damn about this shit. We don't have anything to worry about. Again, you see these Hispanics and people making videos left and right now talking about some, oh, we see what Black Americans have been trying to say this whole time. But all this time, they would join forces and say, talk about how we lazy, how we this, how we that, how we over exaggerating, how police treat us. Oh, we must have been doing something. That's why the police do what they do to us. Now they're seeing that it's not just us making it up. They're experiencing it.
Hmm.
And, you know, truth be told, if Kamala Harris had won, they none of this would be happening, and none of them would be saying what they're saying now. They would still be saying the same old shit. They wouldn't see what's been happening to us, like they are now, and why they are so concerned why we aren't involved with their madness, because we tried to tell you, and y'all chose to do what you wanted to do. You chose to vote for Donald Trump. And now y'all's people is getting caught up left and right. And see, the only reason y'all did that was because you thought it was going to affect us. And now you see that it's not affecting us because, as the president said, the 14th Amendment was meant for the babies of slaves. So that y'all come over here not really even knowing the history of this country, thinking that all of us are immigrants. and that's not the case, and now y'all the ones getting messed up. So that's on you. I went on for like 8 minutes, so yeah.
Well, that's okay.
That's quite the monologue.
Is Morehouse a private or a public school?
I mean, it's a HBCU, so it's public.
Oh, okay. Okay. Mm.
Yeah.
Well, I think that we're still, trying to get people as a black community, trying to get people to understand that having an association to whiteness is not good, even though, people try to um, make them think that uh, white is good and black is bad. And so,
Mm-hmm.
now that they're seeing that they were used and had,
Mm-hmm.
and um, that, like you said, black people have been trying to tell them this whole time that uh, the government is for the government, the police is for the government, and that they are not here to protect you.
Right.
I am. That's one thing that I will say I am happy about. That eyes are starting to open. That you can't believe what everybody tells you,
Right.
and unfortunately, in America, they have to fuck around and find out.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's just what it is.
Yeah. Well, and it's unfortunate that this is the lesson and the way people have to learn it, but it's one thing when again we've been trying to say this, but like you said, they chose to be on the side of white supremacy and figured, oh well, those blacks are just making it up. They just trying to make it difficult. They if only they just obeyed the law.
Yeah, if they complied, they needed to do was comply to the law.
Yeah. So
So the same ones that's complying to the law, you're going to your court case, your immigration court case, and you complying to the law got you getting your one way ticket to either your
the
home
fuck up
country
out of
or
here.
some third world country that you don't even speak the language.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, that's again, that I'll just with this one I'll close with I will continue to tell all of our black freedmen family to continue to do what we do and not be involved, sit back and just mind our business, because it's no sense in us taking rubber bullets for people that ain't appreciative of what it is that we do. The only reason that they were even able to come over here in the droves that they were able to come over here is because of black Americans. And then they come over here and disrespect us in the most just egregious of ways, which actually leads to my next story. There was this U visa scam, which I'm pulling up the article from NBC News. U visas, or sorry, the U visa, that's basically a way for some immigrants to get their visas because they were like attacked or something like that while they were here in America. It's like a protection, but as I go through this, you'll find that people have been using it as a loophole. So the headline here says three current and former Louisiana police chiefs. Now hear this, police chiefs All right, that's the chief of the police of a jurisdiction. They are federally charged in alleged visa fraud scheme. Okay. Prosecutors said immigrants seeking U visa would contact Chandrakant Patel, so I'm going to say Mr. Patel, and he would pay law enforcement to write false reports listing them as having been crime victims. So Mr. Patel had the plug. He was the plug in Louisiana, and he would get the police chiefs to write false reports saying this immigrant was attacked. More than likely, they would say it was a black person that attacked them because it's down in Louisiana. So, that's where they talk about, oh, all this black crime. Well, there you go. This is just an example of where they're faking the numbers. These people are getting attacked by non-existent black people. A federal grand jury in Shreveport returned a 62-count indictment against 5 people on July 2nd. Acting U.S. Attorney Alexander Van Hook for the Western District of Louisiana said in a news conference Wednesday. The police chief took bribes in exchange for filing false police reports that would allow non-citizens to seek a visa that let certain crime victims stay in the U.S. The 5 defendants are Chad Doyle, the chief of police of Oakdale, Michael Slaney, a marshal from the Ward 5 Marshal Office in Oakdale, Glenn Dixon, the chief of police in Forest Hill, Tebow Onisia, the former chief of police in Glenmora, and Chandrakan Patel, a businessman from Oakdale. They were each charged with conspiracy to commit visa fraud and other charges, prosecutors said in a news release. Patel was further charged with 1 count of bribery, 24 counts of mail fraud, and 8 counts of money laundering. For a decade, from December 2015 to at least this month, wow, they were doing this shit up to the minute. Prosecutors alleged Patel was a fixer who unlawfully procured non-immigrant U visas with the help of law enforcement officials. The U non-immigrant status visa is for victims of certain crimes who help law enforcement or government officials investigate those crimes. Part of the application process includes the signature of authorized official or law enforcement agency confirming the individual was the victim of a qualifying crime. Individuals seeking U visas will contact Patel to be named as victims in police reports of armed robbery so they could submit applications for U visas, the indictment alleged. These individuals allegedly paid Patel thousands of dollars to participate in the scheme, and Patel would ask alleged co-conspirators Doyle, Slaney, Dixon, and Onisia to write false police reports naming the individuals as victims of armed robberies and provide certification and supporting documents. So they did this shit for over 10 years. Patel allegedly offered to pay an agent of the sheriff's office $5,000, intending to influence and reward said agent in exchange for a fraudulent police report. Patel allegedly paid the law enforcement officers $5,000 for each foreign national placed on police reports, and that were hundreds of such reports. From September 27, 2023 to December 26, 2024, all of the alleged people submitted false statements in immigration applications by signing I-918B forms despite knowing the individuals were never victims of crimes. I could continue to read on, it's quite the article here, but I'll just cut off and say, a few things that I noticed. You hear these people that defend these immigrants, these illegal immigrants like this. Oh, they're poor victims running from this, that, and the third. These people pay a lot of money to get here. And then when they get here, they spend a lot of money to still commit fraud. They paid Mr. Patel thousands of dollars so that he could then at least pay $5,000 to the police officers to get these U visas going on. That's a hell of a scam. So you know that he had to at least be getting paid 10,000, at least, if not more. I would imagine he's getting paid a whole lot more than $10,000 since he's giving the police 5,000. He getting more than half off the top. Come on now. So, but that's the point. These people come with the mindset to take as much as they can take, and these people aren't destitute. We aren't talking about people that ain't got nothing. They got resources. What they want is to get that citizenship so they could come up over here and get more resources, because they understand that they get more protection than even your foundational freedman black American. And the other thing that I see is that these false police reports, like I said earlier, down there in Louisiana, who do you think they were using to describe who these alleged perpetrators for these victims were? Who do you think that they were saying was attacking these people, armed robberies and shit like that? Who do you think, Big Papa?
Black people.
Okay, all right. So again, that's what they want us to be sitting here getting up in arms about. And like you got your Democrats standing there trying to go up into these facilities and see how these people are being treated and shit like that. When you got black people that's locked up in federal prison right now that have all kinds of stuff happening inside those federal prisons that you ain't never seen them crashing out to go inside something to go see what's going on like that, to that extent. So, yeah. What are your thoughts, Big Pop? You got anything to add to that? It's just me talking. Lord have mercy. I've been talking for the last 30 minutes.
Well, I mean, it's your topics. um, I think that whole situation sounds like a rat. You know, probably told the government or told someone what was going on, and more than likely they put an informant in there to find out what was going on, and they were able to, you know, connect these people together uh and arrest these people, get them charged for the illegal things that they did. So, that I say all of that to say that what's done in the dark will come to light. You cannot continue to do dirty things in America, and you think that people aren't talking or they aren't trying to find out how you uh, got as successful as you did. And the best thing to do at this time is to, follow the law. If you are an African American, follow the law. If you're doing shiesty stuff, then you're gonna get shiesty responses.
And the thing is, the government, they'll let you get away, think you getting away with something. Like obviously, this was in the article. It said they were doing this for 10 years up until up till the month of July, basically.
Mhm.
So yeah, they'll give you the rope to hang yourself. To your point there.
Mhm.
So it's yeah, just don't be doing no foul stuff. But it's I'm pretty sure this is just scratches the surface of all kinds of other illegal and illicit things where, again, these people that come over here alleged to be downtrodden and don't have any resources, they over here to get help. Where are they getting all this money from to give to Mr. Patel so he can go file fake police reports?
Right.
I mean, so when you hear about that, and then you hear about how the government wants to get rid of waste, fraud, and abuse, there is quite a bit of that going on, because it makes you wonder, where the hell are these people getting this kind of resources? Where is the money coming from? It's got to be coming from somewhere. It's not just coming from these help organizations, because as you see, with them, they take all the money and keep it at the top. So who's getting these people these resources so that they can go commit all of these fraud? things and things like that. You know, like I said,
Right.
this just scratches the surface. It's a lot more to it than that, I'm sure. But yeah, anything
Did
else?
did you see anything in that article where they are looking into the people who was able to use the U visas? Is there a follow up on the amount of people that they have used? Are they um, pulling those, I guess, immigration cases
Like the
to
people
the
who
surface?
actually got the benefit of this thing?
Right. Over
No,
the 10 years of service, is that article updating what, all of those people who benefited from that?
no, I don't see anything where they mention that. Um,
Okay.
it
But
do
more
I.
than likely, they are.
Oh, I'm sure that they are because yeah, that's where again they're going after these people that aren't supposed to be in the country right now, and this is a huge uncovering of, like I said, just one of I'm sure many different schemes of these people having these contacts and blaming black people, saying, you know, again, this is where these white supremacists love to come up and say all these stats and say, oh, per capita, black crime this, black crime that. And here you got a case in point where they making up stuff. And then going back to what we were talking about earlier, when we say that half that shit is false and made up, oh no, y'all are just, there's no way that they would do that. That's impossible. You all are just violent. Yeah, I mean, and it's right here in your face of the
Right.
crap that these people are doing.
And
Anyways,
I would say, granted, um, most, I would say, 80% of black people aren't violent. We
right.
don't become violent until a situation occurs where we have to become violent. Now, granted, there are people in prison that are African American that have done crimes. However, a lot of the um, a lot of the aggression or violence is due to something being done to them. You
And let's
know,
be real.
we have to really remember that, when we started to integrate with white America, that white America was the ones throwing rocks and food and everything
Burning
else
crosses in folks' yards.
at us because they didn't want us to integrate with them. So it wasn't the other way around, that, that we were the ones causing all of this havoc when, unfortunately, we at that time wanted what everybody else has.
Yeah. And, you know, let's be real. Black America is over policed versus the dominant society. Black America could never do half the things that the dominant society doesn't get away with it to the extent that they do. So that's another reason why the prisons have mostly us in them, because we are over policed versus other communities in this country up until now. Now
Hmm.
other
Hmm.
communities are seeing, again, like I said, what we've been saying this whole time. But case in point, yeah, we've been getting the brunt of that. That's why you've been seeing so much of us locked up. That's all by design.
Hmm.
But yeah, uh, there is one more thing that I had on my agenda for the topics I wanted to discuss. The National
Yes.
Urban League, and I got this from PBS News. National Urban League declares state of emergency for civil rights in the U.S. under Trump. Now, the National Urban League is one of these, what I like to call old dead black organizations that absolutely aren't and haven't been doing anything for black America besides going to luncheons and banquets and dinners and things like that to sit around and discuss things and do absolutely nothing. Case in point, they were actually at this, I believe it was a conference or something when they came up with this report. The National Urban League's annual State of Black America report accuses the federal government of being increasingly determined to sacrifice its founding principles and threatening to impose uniform education systems and homogenous workforce that sidelines anyone who doesn't fit narrow exclusionary mold. If left unchecked, they risk of reversing decades of progress that have made America more dynamic, competitive, and just. You know, it's a lot of ad hominems and just whataboutisms, in my opinion. If the Nat Urban League and these organizations like that, if they really wanted to do something, I think they would have done a lot more. You know, they talk about DEI and things like that. You had Al Sharpton go and try to make a deal with Target. What does Target do? They go get Kai Cenat to sit there and be their doughboy, basically bypassing organizations like the Urban League because nobody listens to them. They really think they have pull. And I mean, it's just because you all had the opportunity to do stuff and you didn't. And now it's like, why are y'all even trying to act relevant now? I think it's kind of pointless. It's just, in my opinion, another way to get black folks scared and angry over stuff that we don't have anything to really be angry or mad or concerned about, because this is what America has been doing for as long as America's been America. And again, you have organizations like the Urban League, which all they do is just, in my opinion, they just are there to make black people comfortable and lull them to sleep and into the hands of the Democratic Party. That's their purpose. Excuse me. Ooh, Lord, that was rude.
Um, yeah, I think that black organizations that aren't making any changes, they aren't at the forefront of anything. A lot of them are collecting membership fees and having social network events. And that's a lot of what it is a way for you to maybe get connected to black business owners, or those black Americans who are uh, of some type of you know financial hierarchy in the system. So I think that having organizations like the NAACP, like this Urban League organization, and other organizations that really aren't doing anything for the community. You might have one event where you're donating to some type of cause, but you're not really, and the cause isn't really
It's not
affecting
grassroots.
the black community to begin with.
It's
It's
corporatized.
to help
It's not
to
doing
help
anything.
people, help children in the Congo, or help African students who don't have desks and things like that. It's just an event to uh, sit around the table and have conversations and push whatever type of agenda
Agenda.
that is going to keep the memberships rolling in.
And
And
see,
I
they. Oh, I was just gonna say they literally, like, I was gonna read this one sentence here. The report
mhm.
released Thursday at the group's conference in Cleveland, Ohio. That right there, that right there. They had some conference, somewhere at some hotel, probably a white hotel if I had to guess. Criticizes the administration for downsizing federal agencies and programs that enforce civil rights policies. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, go ahead. I just
Oh
I
no,
wanted to
so
put that there.
I I I was just saying that um we just see situations like that where, okay, you get a headline somewhere for people to, and That's it. I'm not seeing where the Black Urban League is in these communities doing food pantries and things like that. You know, the things that the Black Panthers were doing way before its time. So I think that um like you said in the beginning, is that you have to, if you're just reading the headline and a few sentences in the article without doing investigation as to what these organizations are, you think that they are doing something, very important to make changes in the community, when really behind it all, they're not really doing anything but
Hmm.
getting a free advertisement.
Yeah,
So, so yeah.
that's big facts. That's definitely what
Um.
they're. It's just them promoting themselves and their organization, but actually doing nothing tangible. And that's what Black folks are asking for right now is something tangible. We've done this whole symbolism and shuck and jive for 80 years, and every other group that comes to this country gets ahead of us. Meanwhile, it's by way of our nightmare in this country. And they're so disrespectful, they don't even know the history. They just come to take, you know, and then talk
Mhm.
shit to us only to find out, oh, we're sacred to this land and y'all are new booty and you need to put some respect on our name.
Right. Mm. Okay. Well, of course, if there's any updates to any of these three stories, we will definitely come with you all if there is an update. We keep our eyes and ears to the streets, so we will definitely update y'all
Big facts.
on any of these topics, if something arrives. If you all want to have a comment or want to discuss further, we would love for you to comment down below if you're watching on YouTube, and one of us will definitely respond to you in the comments,
If
as
we
well
cooking right
as,
now, hit us with the green check emoji in the comments and like the broadcast, like the video. If we cooking
and of
right now.
course, share us out, and we greatly appreciate it. If you're on X, go ahead and tweet us, like us, and share the stream so that others will be able to get in. And we are always open to giving people the speaker to use. But if you come on the speaker, ask them or begging for money or something else, then we're gonna have to give you the exit.
Yeah, this
But
ain't the space for any of that.
yes, this is not charity.
Mm-mm.
And then I'll also take this time to say, if you are looking to promote your product, your service, definitely reach out to us, send us a DM, and either I or Jay will get back in contact with you. We are also looking for um, uh, special guests to come on the show.
And
So if
panels.
you, yeah, and panels to come on the show and have discussions. So definitely send us a DM either here on X or one of our other social media pages, and we
All of them are
will.
in the link trees. All of our socials are in the link tree
Yes,
in
so
our
definitely reach out.
descriptions. So yes, we're not shy. We love to talk.
Okay, so that was a good intermission.
And also,
All
this
right.
broadcast is sponsored by J. Jordan Deluxe Realty.
Yes, and we'll dig into deeper what J. Jordan Deluxe Realty does, etc., after the show. Um, and yeah, we'll go from there. So I have three topics. That's how we're running the show today. The first topic that I would like to discuss is, since we did talk about ICE in the first topic, I am reading from an article on AP News that says that the Trump administration hands over Medicaid recipients' personal data, including addresses, to ICE. Um, and so it is saying here immigration and customs enforcement officials will be given access to the personal data of the nation's 79 million Medicaid enrollees, including home addresses and ethnicities, to track down immigrants who may not be living legally in the United States, according to an agreement obtained by the Associated Press. The information will give ICE officials the ability to find the location of aliens across the country, says the agreement signed Monday between the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services and the Department of Homeland Security. The agreement has not been announced publicly. The extraordinary disclosure of millions of such personal health data to deportation. Oh wait, an ad just popped up. Sorry. Mm, okay, 1 second. It's giving me all of that. Sorry, you guys.
Oh, it's a long commercial.
Yeah. Okay, here it goes. The extraordinary disclosure of millions of such personal health data to deportation officials is the latest escalation in the Trump administration's immigration crackdown, which has repeatedly tested legal boundaries in its effort to arrest 3,000 people daily. Lawmakers and some CMS officials have challenged the legality of deportation officials' access to some states' Medicaid enrollee data. Is a move first reported by the AP last month that Health and Human Services officials said was aimed at rooting out people enrolled in the program improperly, but the latest data sharing agreement makes clear what ICE officials intend to do with the health data. ICE will use the CMS data to allow ICE to receive identity and location information on aliens identified by ICE, the agreement says. Such disclosures, even if not acted upon, could cause widespread alarm among people seeking emergency medical help for themselves or their children. Other efforts to crack down on illegal immigration have made schools, churches, courthouses, and other everyday places feel perilous to immigrants and even U.S. citizens who fear getting caught up in a raid. HHS spokesperson Andrew Nixon would not respond to the latest agreement. It is unclear, though, whether Homeland Security has yet accessed the information. The department assistant secretary Tricia McLaughlin said in an emailed statement that the two agencies quote unquote are exploring an initiative to ensure that illegal aliens are not receiving Medicaid benefits that are meant for law abiding Americans. The database will reveal to ICE officials the names, addresses, birth dates, ethnic and racial information, as well as social security numbers for all people enrolled in Medicaid. The state and federally funded program provides health care coverage program for the poorest of people, including millions of children. The agreement does not allow ICE officials to download the data. Instead, they will be allowed to access it for a limited period from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday until September the 9th. They are trying to turn us into immigration agents, said a CMS official, did not have permission to speak to the media and insisted on being anonymous. Immigrants who are not living in the U.S. legally, as well as some lawfully present immigrants, are not allowed to enroll in the Medicaid program that provides nearly free coverage for health services, Medicaid is a jointly funded program between states and the federal government. But federal law requires all states to offer emergency Medicaid, a temporary coverage that pays only for life saving services in emergency rooms to anyone, including non US citizens. Emergency Medicaid is often used by immigrants, including those who are lawfully present and those who are not. Many people sign up for emergency Medicaid in their most desperate moments, said Hannah Catch, a previous advisor at CMS during the Biden administration. It's unthinkable that CMS would violate the trust of Medicaid enrollees in this way, Catch said. She said the personally identifiable information of enrollees has not been historically shared outside of the agency unless for law enforcement purposes to investigate waste, fraud, or abuse of the program. So pretty much it's a lot longer article. You guys can check out the AP article there.
Hmm.
Um, my point is this is that in in insurance, right?
Hmm.
Um, you cannot sign anybody up without a social. Um, Granted, emergency care is different. But usually emergency care is used once. And once it is used, that's it. You can't continue using it because you don't have a social security number. My concern is about our health information being given out just like it was given out to Elon when he went into the systems and got everybody's social security numbers and contact information. Is there a concern about our health information being exposed? Granted, I'm sure that a handful of people will only get access to the database, but as we just discussed, that law enforcement, and that does not exclude ICE officials, that there are um, dirty people in these systems. So I say all of this to say that Black America, others who are listening to this, that you need to be watching your credit score, because this is a open book for identity theft. It's been an open book for identity theft with Elon's information, him getting information as well. We don't know who all is getting access. We just know that they are gaining access to these people. But also, besides the identity theft and your health information being exposed, this can also cause uh, those illegal immigrants who lived at your address, prior to you living at your address. This can cause interactions where you are not predicting that they are coming to knock on your door. So you have to be prepared and vigilant of what is going on in your community and what type of community that you live in. Because, I saw a video of ICE coming to a black man's house, knocking on the door, trying to find out if a Hispanic lady lived at his home. And he explained to them that she doesn't live there, that, the only person who lives there is me and nobody else. And, that came into, a interaction between ICE and a black man. Granted, that situation did not result in violence or him being arrested or anything like that, but we do know that ICE agents are aggressive. They do talk reckless and they do not come with proper paperwork. We've also seen where police officers have broken into people's apartments and homes looking for someone with an address that isn't correct. So we have to be aware of what's going on and staying vigilant on our personal information. Jamal, do you have a comment on that? I mean, Jay, do you have a comment?
I mean, I understand the concern, but honestly, I think that they're using the information to accomplish their tasks. And I mean, yeah, anything's possible. Anybody, you got bad actors everywhere that can do bad things with whatever information they have access to. Um, Time will tell. We just have to see how it plays out. But I think there were some states that did allow non-citizens to get access to resources like Medicaid. And that's one of the reasons why they have to go through this process, because of those states that did allow these funds to get commingled with non-citizens. So I would say blame it on those. That's the same reason why we all also have to either have our passports or these real IDs when we travel on domestic flights now, because some of these states decided to allow non-citizens to have IDs. So there you go. I mean, it's just cause and effect, right? You allow one thing to happen and something else happens because of that. And so you allow all of these people to illegally cross the border. You give them access to resources that are only supposed to be for US citizens. And now everybody has to pay the cost of having their information exposed because of the actions of a few. So that's what I think.
Okay. So we will go on to our next topic, which is about our uh, orange, our orange Cheeto master in office.
Yeah.
So the article is coming from the Latin Times, which it says that the headline is Trump brags about illegally bribing GOP congressmen to vote for big beautiful bill. And his quote is that I did him a very big favor. So there's also a video of him having that him basically running his mouth and saying what he had to do to get this bill passed. So I'm just going to read a little bit of the article.
Hmm.
And so it says here that President Donald Trump spoke openly about his attempts to sway Republican lawmakers with personal favors in exchange for their votes on his one big beautiful bill. Speaking to a crowd of supporters and industry leaders at the inaugural Pennsylvania Energy and Innovation event on July 15th, 2025, Trump recounted his frustrations with two GOP holdouts who voted against his sweeping legislative package. One of them, he claimed, had benefited from a deeply personal intervention. I did him a very big favor, very personal favor, as big as you can get, having to do with death and life. And sure as hell, he voted against us. Trump said, so much for favors. The president did not name the lawmaker directly, but just two House Republicans casted no votes. Representative Thomas Massey of Kentucky and Representative Brian Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania. We only had two negative votes. I didn't invite those guys, Trump told the Pittsburgh audience. We had a guy known as Rand Paul Jr. in the House. He always votes no. Trump has previously referred to Masick as Rand Paul Jr. after repeated instances of the congressman's publicly disagreeing with him, like Senator Paul, who has already endorsed Massey's 2026 bid for reelection. Massey is from Kentucky and leans towards liver. I can't even say it.
Libertarian.
Libertarian. There we
Mm.
go. Politics.
Hmm.
Um, and we had somebody else. I won't mention his name, Trump said, as he began alluding to the unrequired favor. It's likely Trump was referring to Fitzpatrick. So you all can continue to read their article at the LA Times. I just think that it is uh, funny that the whole Epstein files situation is going on, and nobody wants to release the names, and he's trying his best to not get out information.
Hmm.
It is illegal to bribe senators to vote for a bill. However, Trump is king. Daddy Trump is king, and he's able to pretty much do whatever he wants to do to get things passed and to flow his way. I think that it is important for us to do our research on candidates before we vote them in, because those same candidates can be molesters and sex offenders under, under the dust of some file somewhere in somebody's computer, you know. So I think that we definitely should do our research and look into these politicians before we are voted before we vote them in. I would not be surprised if those two um, senators or congressmen are not also listed in the Epstein files, but this is all allegedly, allegedly, allegedly. I don't know. I haven't seen the files. I do not have access, but it is quite interesting how hard he is fighting to not allow the list of the perpetrators to be released. And I think that when he is talking about life or death, that could be a huge reason why someone would not want information exposed. If you are married and have children, and then your name is exposed to be on a list, that could pretty much end your relationship with your wife, and you could lose your position, as a congressman. So it will. We're gonna have to put a pin in it and come back to it once more information is let out regarding the files. But I think that there's a reason why. I mean, we all know Trump's name is listed in the Epstein files, but I think that it's due to these bribes and deals that he's making behind the scenes that we don't know anything about unless he runs his mouth and says it in front of everybody that is going on. And we, as legal Americans, don't even realize what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of these politicians, they're definitely corrupt and dirty, and they were definitely on that list. And there's a reason why it's not being released, because it would probably be a national security situation. Yeah, it's just certain things, the powers that shouldn't be don't want to let out, and they have the ability to not let it out. And, you know, we the people are being tested right now. Are we going to allow this to happen or no? Are we going to demand that the lists get released and that these people be exposed? Or are we just going to be okay? Yeah, whatever. And then this just sets the precedent that this is the shit that they're able to get away with.
Yeah.
I will say that
And
it's interesting to see how MAGA has completely. It seems like they're realizing the
turning on
con.
him.
Well, it seems like they're realizing the con that was being played with them this whole time.
Hmm.
That Trump, and his people, how they said one thing and they're doing something else. I mean, all of it just goes back to what I was saying earlier. All of these people that voted for him are seeing now, even though it was very clear, but they believed differently. So FAFO.
Correct. So then the last article, since we do have, as you all know, this episode is powered by J. Jordan Deluxe Realty.
Mm.
So this last story is regarding a African American woman in regards to her what happened with her HOA. So hold on one
Mhm.
second, let me pull that up.
Okay. Now, mind you, I've not heard this story, so Big Pop is sharing it for the first time, but I'm hearing it just like you all are for the first time, and you will be getting my natural reaction.
Yes. Okay. So
Oh, you there? Uh-oh. Big Papa, can you hear me? Hello, hello. Okay. Looks like Big Papa may have some connection issues. I'll give her a minute, try to get back on track. Let's see. Where you at, Big Papa? If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up, Big Papa. Okay, I'm gonna say Big Papa's probably down for the moment, so we're gonna continue on with the show for the time being. I really wanted to hear that article and see what it was about because that would have been a nice little story for us to listen to. Um, yeah. Well, in any event, we'll just we'll carry on. So, this has been a lot of these some other news that we did come across this week. Donald Trump got diagnosed with this vein issue uh, that affects his like legs and stuff like that. So basically, he it could affect his heart. I think they're trying to downplay it and make it seem like it's not that serious, or that it's um, just one of those small itty bitty problems. But I think it's a pretty serious condition, and that uh, you know he's his health is at risk, and he could possibly uh, have a serious issue. Where they're trying to make it seem like it's not that big of a concern, and I guess they're trying to get ahead of it because they're going to say, "Well, we didn't hide it from anyone," and like Joe Biden did. But I think it's a pretty serious situation. And, there was some stuff where we got to see, and especially during the election, where like the time he was trying to open the garage or the garbage truck, the Trump garbage truck, and his leg like swung out and it looked like he was about to fall. There's been other little instances like that. So I wonder if all of those are connected with what's going on with his condition that he just got diagnosed, or it's just releasing to us, the public, under his diagnosis. Uh oh, it looks like Big Papa dropped. So, okay, she must be having some connection issues. I think there's some weather or something maybe going on where she's at. But yeah, I really wanted to hear that article. Man, I can only imagine. HOAs, for those who don't know, they can be really crazy and have all different kinds of rules. I live in an HOA. I've been on an HOA. I've been the president of an HOA. It's not fun telling people that they're in violation of things, but you got to understand when you decided to live in a certain community, you said, "Hey, I'm okay living here, and I want to be following these rules." So, okay, looks like Big Papa just popped back in. All right, I'm gonna send you the invite to co-host. There you go, Big Papa. Just sent that invite. So it looks like we're going to get this article read. I sent you the invite, Big Papa. I don't know if you can hear me. Okay. Oh, you hit did that. I sent you the co-host invite too, Big Papa. So you got to look back on your thing.
Sorry about that, y'all. Sorry.
Yeah, I sent you the
Um,
co-host too.
I didn't get it. Can you send it again?
Okay.
Sorry.
Invite. Oh,
It popped up and then it left.
okay.
How much did you hear of what I said?
Nothing.
Oh, okay.
All right, I
Hold
just
on
sent it.
then. Okay, I got it. Okay. Did it change over?
Yeah, you did.
I'm sorry. 1 second. I'll pull it back up. So you didn't
Okay.
hear anything of what I said at all.
No, 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 no.
Okay. Sorry about that, y'all.
It's all right.
I didn't know when I exited out of
The
the
app.
app that it was gonna do all of that. So
It's all right.
um okay. So it says here, get into this. A Florida mother is searching for answers after she was jailed for 7 days in relation to an HOA dispute involving her front yard maintenance.
Oh, wow.
Irina Green tells WFTS, which is a news station,
Hmm.
that she was embarrassed and shocked that she was actually thrown in jail because she allegedly violated HOA rules. Green claims she started to receive complaints from the HOA management company. They claimed her grass was unkept due to it having brown patches. Her garage was unacceptable due to dents on it, and that her mailbox was unsanitary due to the dirt and pollen accumulated on top. They even complained about her having a white work van parked in front of our house, according to Irina. All of these complaints were unwarranted due to other residents in the same neighborhood having worse conditions than hers. Eventually, after Irina allegedly ignored the notices, she was sued by HOA for the violation. The judge gave her 30 days to fix the issues, or she would face consequences. Irina then made attempts to fix the issues and even sold her commercial van. Irene, though, missed her next court date, claiming she was unaware of the hearing time. Due to this, there was a warrant put out for her arrest, and she was later detained while picking up her daughter from school. She was taken to jail and given no bond. Her quote is, "There was no bond, so I couldn't even go home to my family. I sat in there for 7 days, 7 days in the jailhouse like a criminal," Green said. One of Irina's family members filed a motion for an emergency hearing to get her out of the slammer. In the hearing held by a different judge, the lawyer for HOA reportedly argued that Irina should stay in jail. The judge, though, did not agree and released her.
Wow.
Now, Irina says she's speaking out against the power HOA has over homeowners. Her quote is, "I think they have way too much power. I've never heard of anything like this in my life," Green said. So, as far as her not knowing the court date, she said that she reached out to the courthouse a handful of times with no answer as to when her next court date was, or what time that it would be, what day it would be on. She reached out to the DA with no response back, so she did not have any information. They did show her garage. It did have one dent in it, but it was not noticeable from the road. Her
Subjective.
mailbox, her mailbox did have pollen on it and like tree sap, but it's because she has a tree in her front yard and the tree hangs over the mailbox. So as soon as she cleans off the mailbox, it gets dirty again. And as far as her yard, having brown spots on it. She said that it was due to like the weather, and that the area had a like a warning about you couldn't like use water on your grass, whatever rule that is, that they were in a drought, so you couldn't
Yeah.
use water to like water your grass. So she called someone out to remove the brown spots and put in like fake grass, or real grass, but you know how they have those like patches that you can put in.
Hmm.
But as soon as she put the patches in, because she can't water the grass with the sprinkler system outside, that grass had brown spots on it. And so the commercial van that she had, it was like one of those newer, it wasn't like a Ford Transit, but
Hmm.
it's one of those type of
Hmm.
Ford Transits. And this lady is an African American woman. So I would love to know your thoughts on HOAs, and how, as you and I know, that they're used to block certain people out of communities. And just from your point, have you seen uh, any words of information, any helpful tips for those who are thinking about entering it into a community that has an HOA, things to watch out for, etc., etc.?
Got you. Okay. So yeah, a couple of things that I hear in this from the article that you read there. Um, and as I was explaining while you were away to our listeners, when you're buying or decide to live, if you're renting in a community that has an HOA, you're saying that I'm okay with these rules and regulations that will be over my property, in addition to the town ordinances or city ordinances in the area to which you live in. So that being said, if you receive any notice from your HOA in the mail or whatever, the worst thing to do is ignore it, which is the first thing I noticed in the article that you were reading, is that she ignored the correspondence that they sent out. If she had just explained, like she said in later on in the article, all of those things about the grass and we couldn't water the lawn and how the mailbox is next to a tree. If she had just responded to the message that she got originally, she probably would have avoided a lot of issues and just said exactly that same information that she said there. If she had just put that in the response the first time, I guarantee you we wouldn't be talking about this article. So I think the big lesson here is, if you get any kind of notice, respond. Don't ignore it. It's not going to go away by you ignoring it. As a matter of fact, as you see, it could get you wind up in jail, because actions have consequences. Now, do I think it should have gotten that far? Absolutely not. But ignorance to the law is no excuse. If you've ever had to deal with the legal system in courts, you know they don't care about anything. They're not there to help you. They're not your friends. If you knew you were on the docket to show up in court, especially for something of that nature, it's your responsibility to make sure that you know the date and time you're supposed to be at court. I don't know what's going on with their system. I don't know. Maybe there was something where she couldn't find it online. It sounds like she did try. Push comes to shove, you take your ass up there till you figure it out, because you messing with your freedom. Again, this, I don't know this lady, but it seems like she's the type where, I'm not saying this is her. It just seems like she's not that concerned with like things that she gets notices about until it's too late. So again, family, that would be my advice, is to be proactive. Anytime you have any kind of notice that comes to you from your HOA, if you have a court date for whatever reason, whether it's a speeding ticket, whatever the case may be, if you can't figure out what date and time because of whatever reason, that's not an excuse to just not show up, family. You got to go to court. If not, they can say you're in contempt of court. And that's exactly what happened to this lady. She was found in contempt of court, and they issued a warrant, and they can come grab your ass up at any point in time. So, and if you ain't got the bail money to get out, you stuck there. And at the end of the day, who wants to use their bail money on some dumb shit like that? I'd rather use my bail money for something serious, you dig? But that's just me. So yeah, I feel terrible about what happened. I'm glad that she didn't get, she's not remaining in jail. But, you know, unless you buy a house out in the middle of nowhere or in like an area without an HOA, even still, if you're inside like a city or township, whatever, you still have ordinances that you have to follow. I work in a municipality, and there's certain things, even though your house may not be in an HOA, you still wouldn't be able to have like your house has to still look a certain way, you know, and that's
Right.
even in a non HOA. So it's I get people have this thought that okay, I'm spending all this money, I can do whatever I want, I can have my house however I want. In theory, that sounds good, but there's a reason. Oops, there's a reason why it's set up that way. You know,
Hmm.
it's to protect the values of the area. It's to protect the look of an area. So it's not just about your neighbors being nosy. They're really wanting to protect their values to the most part. Now, of course, you do have neighbors that don't mean well and can weaponize the HOA against you. I've had it happen to me. But it's all it just comes back to how you handle things. Ignoring it is not going to be the solution. You have to address it. If you chose to live in these communities, you got to work with your neighbors. And most of the times, all of this is just a conversation that can squash a lot of things just off the bat, just by having an email response.
Hmm.
And that would,
And I
in this case, would have saved this young lady a lot of problems.
I think that I can hear myself over the speaker, Jay. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I
I'll.
think that well, I can't hear myself now, so I don't know. But anyway, I think that like Jay said, you should be responding. That means check your mailbox. I've known people who don't check their mailbox, but once every 2 weeks, and some who barely check their mailbox once a month. So I think that, like Jay said, if you have some responses, don't go and ignore it, especially when you live in a HOA community and you're paying your dues every single month. That's all good, great, and grand, but there are rules that you have to abide by. But also, I think that if you do live in a HOA community, there is a sense that you do need to have extra income, like on the side, where, fortunately, this lady, she had the money to, get a patch fixed in her yard. She had the money to get a dent, taken removed off of her garage door. She had the money to sell her work van, but for those who are in a situation where their work van is their job, you know, then that can definitely become an issue. So before you enter into a community that does have a HOA, I would definitely say read over your contract and what you are agreeing to, and does that fit to your lifestyle. I get that when you are buying a house, you want to be the one to have it, and you ready to sign on a dotted line and agree to whatever. But if your lifestyle is not fitting to the HOA rules and guidelines, then you will have issues to come about. So I don't think that it should have been as serious as this lady getting arrested and put in jail for 7 days. And not just only that, now her daughter probably has seen her mother get arrested by the police due to an HOA issue in her own neighborhood. And I think that HOAs is one way that, yes, the lady did do a lot of, I would say, incorrect things. However, HOAs can be used to pinpoint different nationalities or different races to get kicked out, used and abused to get you out of their neighborhood. So you have to play smart. You have to know how to write a response that is respectful. You have to know how to get connected with those in the HOA where you can have conversations before issues arise in your direction regarding your properties and things like that. So I just wanted to put that information out there as well regarding living in an HOA community.
Yeah, no, I agree with all of that. And it's like you said, you've got to know the rules and regulations. Every community that has a HOA, they have bylaws and covenants and restrictions. There probably a lot of them do have restrictions against like work vehicles. It does sound like this lady was targeted because I'm pretty sure she wasn't the only one that had certain things like this. But sometimes HOAs do go around and do like a a look or whatever, they just go around the neighborhood checking and seeing what's out of place. So it could be that they sent notices out to more than just her. And again, she just chose to ignore it. And, they could have just had a new board, and the, president of the board or whatever, the board members wanted to say, hey, because we're the new board, we just want to be present, and whatever the case may be. Like I said, at the end of the day, ignoring it is not going to be the solution. You gotta you gotta address things. So if you want to get an attorney to respond to you, you can definitely do that. You can pay that to do that. It's not necessary, but you can if you're not up to it. But yeah, there's ways to get things done to where you're not, you know, getting caught up to the extent that this lady did. I like you said, I hate that this happened. I don't think it's right that it happened, and it's even more messed up that the attorney for the HOA was like, she needs to stay in jail. I think that was pretty messed up. Over, again, stuff that's just cosmetic thing that's not really, things that can be fixed, right? And I'm talking about like the house is falling down. And so, or even that's the case, that's still not worth somebody getting locked up over. But
Right. I mean, and I think it's also when you are looking in these communities for homes, you
mhm,
can't just be looking inside of the house and saying, "Oh, I can see my dining room here. I can see my bedroom over here, and my office here." You need to look
mhm,
around the property. You need to see that there is a tree growing in your front yard that
mhm,
hangs over the mailbox.
mhm.
It's not just what's going on the inside.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't be fooled by the price in a nice community. You need to be
And the
attentive.
amenities and stuff, like, oh, this neighborhood has this and that. Okay, well, because it has this and that, that means a lot of people going to be making sure that this and that is in good shape, and that the stuff around this and that goes to match.
Correct. Right. And so, I'm not saying that HOA communities are the worst thing. I like the community that Jay lives in. But if you want to
Mhm.
live like the Joneses, you're gonna have to respond and act like the Joneses as well. And most
Yeah,
people don't have that problem, but you know, just I would say, listeners, please take heed.
yeah,
And
yeah,
and that was my last story. I think we ended
yeah. That
off
was a
on
good
a
one.
good note.
Yeah,
And so we will go back over what we talked about in the intermission. if you are on our YouTube page, go ahead and click subscribe and like our videos, share us out so that others can hear our truth, our power, and our perspectives.
Hmm.
If you are on X, go ahead and give us a follow. If you want to follow us separately, you can follow me at Mimi the Great on all my socials. And Jay.
At JCJ08STA on X, and I'm also on Instagram as well at the Whirlwind Lancer. Also, J Jordan Deluxe Realty on all platforms. That is JAY Jordan Deluxe Realty, REALTY Realty. Yes.
And then this episode is powered by J Jordan Deluxe Realty. If you can let the people know.
Yeah, we are a full service real estate firm with a unique specialization in right of way services. I represent buyers, sellers, and project owners on different acquisition of land projects, for whether it's a road widening project or something as simple as putting in a sidewalk in the neighborhood. These same neighborhoods we are just talking about. Oh, where you going,
Oh,
Prophet?
sorry. Okay, and they can reach out to you via the socials. I'm sure you have like a link tree to your website, etc.,
Yep.
etc.
Yep, J Jordan
Um,
Deluxe Realty. You can Google it. It's also on all of the socials medias. And we also have a website, JJ, the letters JJ Deluxe, Deluxe, Realty.com, where you can
okay,
schedule a
and
call.
yes, and we are looking for sponsorships to promote your product or item. You would just need to reach out through us via the DMs, and we will definitely be in communication with you. If you would like to be a special guest on the show, reach out to us and we will be in communication with you. We would love to do a panel and create, uh, a work partnership with other podcasts, other special guests who would love to join the conversation.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. We are definitely open to that. And like we said earlier, any panel situations where you want TPP podcast on with Jay and Big Papa, or Big Papa and Jay, vice versa, what have you. Uh, we're a bundle package, so it'll be both of us giving our alternative views.
Yes. I know one topic we did not touch on, which is the Trump's health condition.
Oh, I did touch on
But
that while you were a little bit away. Well, I did.
okay,
I
all
did
right.
kind of go into that, and brought up that he probably had that during the campaign, and said how when he was opening the Trump garbage truck, how his legs swung out that time he almost fell,
Mhm.
and other times where he's almost fallen is probably because of his situation and how they're trying to downplay it, but it's serious because it could affect his heart. And before you know it, we
Right.
got JD Vance as the president. So yeah.
Correct. And I've seen some nurses on TikTok saying that um it's starting to look more like congestive heart failure than
Mm,
whatever this VS is about his veins and all of
hmm.
that. So we will keep our eyes on legs and hands, feet
Man.
and hands, and if anything crazy comes about, then we will discuss that on the next show.
Yes, indeed.
So we should be back before the end of July, and
I'd say so.
we thank you all for listening in, and we will see you on the next show.
Yes. Have a good one.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.